Well, hello, my lovelies and lilies. Coup de grace. 6. Coup de grace 6. X and E. Again, this is a huge puzzle piece. At first, we're told, okay, remember this. At first, from what we know, and initially, according to Dylan, all the roommates were home by 2 a.m. That's what we originally thought. However, with the new documents that came out a few weeks ago, right? That's not the case. It was Dylan, supposedly, Bethany, Xana. I'm sorry, not Xana, Kaylee, and Maddie. X and E weren't home at 2 a.m. According to Dylan. So where were they? So this is where it can really go off the rails here, guys. We all thought that everybody was home at 2. That's not the case. X and E were not home at 2. According to the judge, according to what DM stated. Right? Now all of a sudden, these two we don't know where they are at 2 a.m. Now, we have some time anchors. We have 12 midnight. That's an anchor. That's a time anchor. This is when supposedly Xana speaks to her father on the phone and they're eating pizza, right? 12-ish. So that's a time anchor, and that's coming from a third-party source. So this isn't coming from Dylan, okay? That's what we want. We want information like this not coming from the prime suspect. So we have a 12 a.m., we have an anchor there for time. But then it's like, okay, then 2 a.m., according to Dylan, according to the judge, and I guess what Dylan fucking said then, that Ethan and Xana were not even at the house at 2 a.m. It was just the rest of them. Can that now was that corroborated by Bethany? See, you have to corroborate what Dylan said by Bethany. So we don't know if Bethany corroborated that or not. The other two can't corroborate because they're gone, right? Remember, they're going to be gone, so they can't corroborate anything. So the only person that can corroborate is Bethany, the Hobbit. So again, wild card, Bethany. Is she in a hotel? Is she not in a hotel? According to Dylan, no, she's at the house. All right, moving on. So we have 12 anchor time. That's an anchor. After that, I mean, do you believe Dylan that they weren't home at 2? Do you believe that? Because Dylan, again, prime. Dylan is this is important, guys. Unreliable narrator with her. She's unreliable narrator. Dylan. Remember, she lies all the time. Her story changes quite often. You know? So you have to take what she says with a grain of salt here. That's the problem again with the prime. They ain't going to tell you the fucking truth. You have to kind of... They may give you bits and pieces of the truth here and there, but they're not going to tell you exactly the story. So you have to kind of dance around and figure out shit and talk to other people, like Bethany. So, yeah, you'd have to go to Bethany and say, hey, Bethany, were there, who was home at 2 a.m.? And she would either corroborate what Dylan said or not. We don't know that, though. That's another fucking problem. We don't know that. Okay. So, are they home at 2 or not? That's one big question you have to answer. What do you believe? Do you believe they were at home at 2 a.m. or do you believe they were not? If you believe they weren't home at 2 a.m., okay, yes, that's when we get into the questions about where were they? Did they go back to the frat house? Because they were there supposedly earlier. Did they go back? Okay. If so, what time did they come back? Well, guess what? We don't know that. We don't know. Because, I'll tell you why. Because then it jumps from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. There's a jump here. There's a 2-hour jump. So you tell me. Because this is all driven by Dylan. This is all driven by the prime. Because 2 a.m., they're going to get food, which is ridiculous because Kaylee and Maddie just fucking ate. So they're not going to go back to the grub truck. That's all fucking ludicrous. But then they all decided they were going to go to bed. Okay, then it jumps to 4 a.m. in the morning. We don't know then. It doesn't say, yeah. And then at least I don't know, guys. If I'm wrong, I again, it's quite possible I missed a lot in this with the transcripts and the stuff. But I don't recall there being something said like, oh yeah, and by the way, X and E got home at 2:30. I don't remember seeing any of that. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, it's quite possible that's in there somewhere. I don't remember seeing that. Okay, all I remember seeing is a jump from 2 to 4. This kicks off the 4 a.m. bullshit. All that. That's what kicked this. Then this all gets kicked off. So, okay, that's where we're at right now with Xana and Ethan. Okay? Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. And it shouldn't be. All right. So, this is where the conspiracy shit can really get out of hand. Tyrone needs some burger in there. All right. So, you could get really lost and say, in conspiracy muck, you could say, Xana and Ethan, something happened to them prior to getting back to the house. Now, again, we're in, guys, conspiracy land. Do you want to go that route? I don't. I want to keep it straight and nice. But it's compelling, though. It is very compelling that something happened to these two outside of the house somewhere. Maybe outside the frat. Whatever. I don't know. Is there maybe there's information there that I missed about supposedly them being walked home from the frat by the brother walked them home. But then why is it that when we get to 2 a.m., why is it that it's only Dylan, Bethany, Maddie, and Kaylee? Why? Then why would the judge and why would it be, well, X and E, they're not home. So where the fuck are they? Yeah. So anyway, okay, X and E, sorry. So see, a lot of back and forth with this because this puzzle piece is a real pain in the fucking ass, let me tell you. Real pain in the ass to try to figure this out. However, however, what's going to help with this is DM is your prime, right? Remember this, and she's your anchor. Okay, so you got to stick within that parameter. Bethany, again, Hobbit, we don't know, but for now, it's DM. Now, if DM's the prime suspect in this case, then obviously she's going to have a hand in unaliving X and E, obviously, and her two compatriots. So you have to ask yourself this question. Here's the question you have to ask yourself with this. Was Kaylee and Bethany, Kaylee and Maddie, were they actually inside the house at 2 a.m.? Were they actually inside the house at 2 a.m.? You have to look at that. It makes more sense that they wouldn't be in the house at this time. Now, however, that does not mean that they weren't home at this time. Okay. They leave the grub truck at 1:50 what? 1:58. Takes about, let's say, 10 minutes. Generously. 10 minutes it's going to take to get from the grub truck to your house. So 10 minutes. So let's say 2:10 they'd arrive back at the house. Just assuming. Assuming they didn't make any other pit stops, they went right home. So they get there about 2:10-ish. 2:10. So the question is, do they enter the house right away when they get home? Or are they doing other things before entering the home? So yeah, they're home in a sense, yes, but they're not actually in the house. Okay. No. What I think, and I pulled from different sources on this. Okay. And again, it's all speculation because we just don't fucking know. So I'm trying to be as logical about this as possible without making too many leaps into the mud. But what I think occurred here, well, again, it'd be much easier to explain what I think happened to Kaylee and Maddie first than Xana. But no, we're going to stick with Xana and Ethan right now. Were they the first to be unalived? Yes. In my opinion, yes. In my theory, yes, they were. They were. Yeah. They were. Definitely. Coroner ain't helping me on that. Coroner waits 8 hours to get her stupid fucking ass in the house to even check to see what, anything. She takes her sweet ass time getting there. So who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows how accurate that's going to be in terms of their time of death, because we waited 8 hours to check on them. Fucking who the fuck knows? But whatever. She didn't even do the autopsy, so whatever. What's her name? My fucking ass. That's her name. My fucking ass. I think that's Irish. Anyway. Yeah, her name's Ma Ass. Anyway. Okay. So yeah, in my theory, X and E are unalived first, before Kaylee and Maddie. So here's what I think happened. This is the nasty theory. Okay, this is the nasty theory. All right, Dylan and her two compatriots are at the house. They're at the house. I think um mm, mm. Again, we need corroboration here. Corroboration. I don't know if we have it. So what I mean by that, let's say Bethany says, "Yeah, I saw Xana and Ethan at the frat at 128, whatever." All right. I don't know that. We don't know that. I don't know that. Maybe there's statements that she did say some. I haven't seen them, but all right. So okay, we know they were at least alive at 12, according to her father. So that's again the time anchor. We know they were still alive at 12. Then we get her mama, the mom saying, well, Ethan's mom saying, her quote, 2 a.m. is a dark hour, the darkest hour, whatever, the dark hour. Dark night of the fucking scarecrow with this goddamn town. Idaho potatoes, man. It's like dark night of the fucking scarecrow shit with this bullshit case. Anyway, these people. Oh my god. Corrupt Idaho potatoes. So, okay, 12 o'clock, they're still alive. 2 a.m. is a dark hour. But supposedly, according to our lovely Miss DM Prime, they weren't even in the house at 2 o'clock. What do you know? You know what that's called? That's called more lying by the prime. The prime line. Unless Bethany can back that up, which we don't know. Nah, most likely she fucking lied. Because she lied pretty much the whole entire time. So, Dylan, her two conspirators, they're in the house. There may have been a fight at the frat party. Who knows? May have been a fight at the frat party. But they get home. Let's say, my guess is they got home about. Here's what I think. Here's the time I think they actually got home. I think they got home about 1:30 to 1:45 a.m. That's when I think Xana and Ethan got home. Personally. That's when I think they were there. Okay? Dylan and her compatriots, well, they and I again, Dylan, I don't know. Dylan's target is Kaylee. The one conspirator target is probably gonna be Kaylee's target. The other one, the other suspect, the most dangerous one. My guess is he's the one that spearheads the attack on Xana and Ethan. That's my guess. My guess is this one maybe help with the first accomplice, not Dylan. Not Dylan yet. Dylan not yet. But she's there. She knows. But no, that attack is coming from the real dangerous dude. Maybe the one was on steroids. I don't know. You know, whoever. But he's the one that attacks Xana and Ethan. And he may have help from the second one. But anyway, he attacks them, unalives them. Xana, you know, defensive wounds, all that. We all know that. Xana, not in her room at this point. No. I think, well, let me put it this way. I think um I think they died outside of their room. I don't think both of them died in their room. I think they both died outside of their room. And then what I think happened was they were tried to be moved back in their room. That's what I think happened. I think between Dylan and the other two, they tried to move them back into Xana's room. All right. I'm going to leave it there. But we're getting into the part now. So Kaylee and Maddie, right? They're they're on their way home. They leave the grub truck at 1:58. They get home approximately 10 minutes later, let's just say, without making any other stops, okay? Generous. They get home, what, 2:08 is when they get home. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to leave it there. So at this point, Dylan and her accomplices, the most dangerous one, attacks Xana and Ethan. Unalive, they are started to be put in their rooms because they're killed in the hallway. They're going to be put in their rooms. Meanwhile, these two are coming home. Okay, that's where I'm going to leave it, guys. That's where I'm going to leave it because we're going to get into what's going on after that. All right. Love you, my lilies. Oh, listen. Hey, how many do I got now? I got 20. Do I got 20? Hey, Tyrone got 20. Oh my Lord. I love all my 20 lilies and laws and honey pies and sugar plums. Oh my God. Keep it coming here. Remember, we take all kinds here in the spirit world, all right? Right? Ain't that right, Master Nature? Yes, Tyrone, that's true. So you keep on coming and we keep on, well, eventually we make $5. Okay, that's Tyrone's hope. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I'm a spirit, so I really don't give a shit. But well, except for bingo and my burgundy. So okay, we talk later. Bye, lovelies.